Today we have a lecture about graphic programming in Java. This is lecture number 2. In this lecture we are going to see that how we can use the Java for graphic programming. What are the different packages and classes are there to support the graphic programming. This lecture is a very basic fundamental lecture, and in the other lecture we are going to discuss some more aspects of the graphic programming in Java. So basically this lecture is going to help you to work in the lab, because we are going to start the lab from this week, and you need some basic ideas about the graphic programming in Java. So after this lecture you will be able to work on the lab problems. So I will also discuss more about the labs after this lecture. So let me see you that if the recording is going properly, so we can start the lecture. Following are the contents of this lecture: Java APIs and the Java IDE, what application programming interface we are using, and what are the different integrated development environments are available to write the Java programs. We will discuss about the graphic context and the graphic objects. We will discuss about the Java coordinate system, and how we can draw the different object on this Java screen or the Java window when you are writing the program. Some basic drawing methods. We are going to discuss very fundamental method to draw the basic primitives, for example like a line, rectangle, what methods are available to draw these primitives. Drawing the polygon and the polylines. We also will discuss about the objects which have you can say that many vertices. Polygons mean that many shapes or many vertices and many edges. So polygons are basically the closed shape, and the polylines are the not the closed shapes. We'll discuss about both of them. We are going to discuss advanced package Java AWT GUM, which is basically the geometry package to draw the graphic objects. We are going to discuss about the setting the color, how we can use the built-in color. Some already built-in colors are available. We can use it with just one statement, but there are other methods are there. We can create our own colors. And then drawing the string. If you want to write a text as a graphics, not like a Unicode or ASCII text, but as a graphics, we'll discuss in this lecture. And then how we can set the font when we are writing the string or a text as a graphics. So how we can write in the different fonts. And then some example Java program. So these are the topics of this lecture. Let me again see you that recording is going properly. So we are going to start the discussion about this topic. First is the API. An API basically a application programming interface, provide the developer with the abstract layer which masks the complexity of accessing a system or an application, providing a kind of standard function. Basically in the API we are using the built-in libraries or the classes or the function. So in the Java, because you have already taken the course, so you know that we have to download the Java JDK, and it consists of lot of packages. Within each package the classes are there. So how we can access these classes, how we can import these classes, and how we can call the method. So this is being described in the application programming interface. And usually when you download the JDK, there is a accompanying documentation is there. So you can also download a documentation. In the documentation there is a lot of details are there about the different packages and the classes and how they are being organized. So this is in my experience that the best way to get the detail about some package or some classes is to read the official API. Of course on the internet you can find the many websites are there, many examples are there, but the official documentation is always better than the other mean. So I will always suggest you that you read the API documentation provided by the Oracle. Now for this course we are using the Java API, and in the Java API we are specifically using the Java 2D and the Java 3D, but many other APIs are available which can be used to write the graphics program. For example, the OpenGL, Open Graphic Library, and usually the people who are using the C and the C++, they are using the OpenGL graphics library. The implementation of the APNGL OpenGL is also available in the other languages. So this is basically a standard which can be followed by the different platform and different languages. Microsoft provides the DirectX. This can also be used to write the graphic programming, but we are going to use the Java 2D and the Java 3D. Regarding the API, when you are writing the Java code, you need some kind of editor. Simply you can use the notepad, but it is not going to provide you the functionality or the feature which are being available in the more sophisticated integrated development environment. So an IDE is a software application that provides the facilities to computer programmer for the software development. So people are using the APIs, especially the professional programmers are getting a lot of benefits, advantages by using these integrated development environment. An IDE normally consists of a source code editor, build automation tool and the debugger. So these are the very basic things are there. You can write the source code, and there are the facilities are there that the different features or the different part of the languages are being mentioned in the different color. So you can identify that either it is a some built-in data type, or it is a method, or it is a class. So you can use these features. And there are some tools are there which you can use to automate the process of building your application, because in the Java you have to compile your source file, which is the Java file, and after the compilation you will get the class file. So there are the different icons and the shortcuts are there. You can quickly build your source code, and if there is some problem, there is some error, the IDE is going to provide you that IDE is going to provide the mechanism. You can identify the problem, you can go to the specific line, and it is going to provide you some hint what is the problem there in the code. Either it is a syntax error or there is some other thing is there. So this is going to be helpful, and the debugger is also going to provide you to run your code step by step. Some IDEs contain the compiler, interpreter, or both, such as the Microsoft Visual Studio, NetBeans, Eclipse, and others do not. So in the IDEs you will find the many facilities are there. They are going to provide the compiler if there is a provision for the compilation of the code. And some of the languages are basically not the compiled languages. They are like interpreter languages. So you don't have to produce the compiled code. You can directly run the code, and the interpreter is working like an engine to run the code. So depending on which language you are using. In the Java we have to compile, we have to produce the class file from the source Java file. So many different kind of IDEs are available. They can be used for many languages. For example, the Microsoft Visual Studios supports many languages. You can write the program in the C, C++, and I think nowadays Pythons and R statistical languages. So they are providing you to functionality to write and compile the code of many languages. NetBeans is there, which is I think is being officially supported by the Oracle, and it is being a kind of de facto standard for writing the Java code. And I think most of you already have used the NetBeans. So we can use the NetBeans in the lab to write the Java code. Eclipse is also there, which also support many languages. So it is going to be your choice which editor, which integrated development environment you are going to use to write the Java program. More examples are there for IDEs. Eclipse, this is the free and open source IDE. NetBeans is there, which is also free. JCreator is also there, and personally I like this IDE, JCreator. The reason is that it is written in the C and it is very fast. So if someone has to work very fast quickly, then this is a recommended editor. NetBeans is basically written in the Java, so I found it is a bit slower. So but if you have to write a big Java program, you want to use many built-in features of the IDEs, then the NetBeans is a good choice. But if you have to write very simple program, then the JCreator, the free version is there. You can use it, and the pro version is also available there, but you can use only the free version if you want to use. and Oracle JDeveloper is also there. So you have to choose one of these editor to write the Java program. As I told you that even simply we can write the program in the notepad and we can compile and we can produce the class file, but it's not going to be easy, and it might be difficult for you to find the errors in the program and resolve these problems if you are not using the IDE. To use the Java, you have to download the Java Development Kit. So you can download the Java Development Kit official version from the Oracle website. So you are going to download the standard edition. Actually there are the different editions are there, but we are going to use the Java standard edition. For the people who are using the Java for the mobile application development, they have to download the different edition, but we are going to use the SE or the standard edition. So when you are going to download the JDK, you are going to also find that it also contains the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So this Java Runtime Environment is required to run the Java program. So the people who are not developing, they are not writing the Java program, but they want to run the Java program, they can use only the JRE, which is smaller in the size. So but when you are downloading the JDK, you are working as a developer, so the JRE is also included in the JDK. So it is also possible that your computer is already have the JRE, Java Runtime Environment, but multiple version of the JRE can also be there in your machine or in your computer. So it's better that you download the latest version of the JDK, and you will find the latest version of JRE with the JDK. Now let's talk about more concrete about the Java two-dimensional programming. The Java 2D API provides the two-dimensional graphics, text and the imaging capabilities for the Java. So we can use the 2D API if you want to draw the two-dimensional graphics. Two-dimensional graphics means, for example, like a line, like a rectangle, like a polygon. These are the two-dimensional graphics. And if you want to draw the text, but we are going to draw the text as a graphics, and there are the imaging capabilities are there. We can read the image from the image file and we can draw this image in the Java frame or in the Java window, and we can apply certain operation on the image by using the Java 2D. Java 2D rendering package support the line art, text and the images for developing user interfaces, drawing program and the image editor. So people are using the Java 2D if they are writing the code for some interfaces. For example, this can be the interface for simple application. Maybe you are developing the interface for some records. We are reading the record from some file, and we want to display these record on some window or in the frame, and there are some navigation menus are there, some navigation buttons are there, so we can develop the interfaces. Even we can use the Java 2D for the image editors, so we can perform the different operation in the images. We can show the image in one part of the interface, and other part we have the editing tools. For example, we can change the color of certain parts, we can remove, we can crop, or we can insert some other objects in the image. And of course the drawing programs in which the user can draw the different shapes. We can develop the interface for these programs where there is some area there, user can draw in that area by choosing the certain given shape. For example, in the other panel, in the other area, there is a menu is there which provide the shapes like a rectangle, a triangle, line. User can click on that shape and then draw that shape in the drawing area. As you have seen that Microsoft Paint is there, which is also like a drawing program. So similar program can be developed in the Java, and to draw or to develop certain programs in the Java is not very difficult. So you will have the capabilities after this course. You can develop the simple image editor. Java 2D object exists on a plane called the user coordinate space. So when you are drawing the objects you are going to draw of the object in some plane which is a two-dimensional area, and there are coordinates are there, means that for every point you have to specify the position for that point or the vertex by using the two values, x value and the y value. So you have to specify that value, then you are going to draw the object or the point or the vertex at a particular point. So you have to be very precise. You must understand this coordinate system so that you can draw exactly on a certain position in the drawing area. We will see the example for these, how we can draw by specifying the coordinate position. Java 2D capabilities. So what are the different capabilities are there in the Java 2-dimensional? Right now in this lecture we are discussing the Java 2D. Later on we will discuss the Java 3D as well. A uniform rendering model for display devices and the printer. So either you can send your output to the device, means display device, for example like a screen, computer screen, or the output can be sent to the printer. You don't have to write the separate program. There is a consistent way that the output can be sent to both the devices, both type of the devices, either display or the printer. Java 2D is going to provide the geometric primitive. Primitive means something like a basic shape such as the curve, rectangle, ellipsis, and the mechanism for rendering any geometric shape. So you can draw these shapes, and as I told you that more advanced shapes like the polygon and the polylines can also be drawn by using the classes which are available in the Java 2D API. A compositing model that provides the control over how overlapping objects are rendered. So sometimes it happens that we are drawing the multiple objects or the multiple shapes, and some of the objects or the shapes are in the background and some of them are in the foreground. So you don't have to be careful. You don't have to be care about this thing, which object is going to be visible and which is not going to be visible. Java is automatically going to care about these things. You have to just provide the information about the object, where to draw these objects, what are the colors are there for these objects. Then if some object is there in the foreground and maybe another object is there on the background, and the foreground object is partially overlapping the background object, so in that case we are not going to see the background object completely. We are going to see the complete foreground object and partial of the background object, but which object and which part of the object is visible, it is going to be cared by the Java 2D. Java 2D provides the capabilities for the color support and the color management. As I told you that in the Java there is a specific class color, and there are some constants are defined there, so you can change the color, the drawing color or the background color by using these constants very quickly. So there is a one line statement is there, set color, and then you can pass the parameter color dot red, color dot green, so you are going to change the drawing color. But there are other mechanism is there. You can create your own color. So you can create the object of the color class. You can specify the specific value for the color component, that is the red, green and the blue, and you can create your customized color. We will see the example for these later on. Now let's talk more about the Java 2D coordinate system. The Java 2D coordinate system is a scheme for identify every point on the screen. As I told you that in the graphic programming we have to be very precise. We must know that where our point or our vertex is going to be shown on the screen. So upper left corner of the GUI component has the coordinate 0, 0. So usually what happens that in the mathematics we are using the coordinate system, which is a Cartesian coordinate system, in which we have a center or the origin usually in the center of the plane, and we have a positive x-axis, values are on the right side, they are increasing when we move from the left to the right, and the values are negative values are increasing on the left side, and the positive y values are there along the vertical axis, they are increasing, we are moving upward, and the negative values are increasing when we are moving downward. So this is the coordinate system which we usually use in the physics or the mathematics and the other subjects. But when you are using the Java, remember that your origin of the screen or the Java drawing area is going to be the top left corner. So this is going to be the origin, we will not have the negative values when we are going to draw on the Java screen or the Java frame. Our values are going to be increased along the x-axis. The x values are going to be increased along the horizontal axis from the left to the right. For example, here it may be the value like 10, and then here it may be value like 20, and here it may be value like 30, depending on that what is the size of your frame or the window. So you can see that the values are increasing from left to the right, and only the positive values are there. And our y-axis or the y-coordinates values are increasing when we are moving from the top to the bottom. And this is, you have to understand, because this is not like we have in the Cartesian coordinate system, because when we are moving downward our values are decreasing. But here when we are moving downward in the Java graphical coordinate system, our values are increasing and our values are always positive. For example, here it can be the value 10, and it can be the value 20, it can be the value here 30, 40, and so on and so forth. So this is the coordinate system we are going to use in this course or in the lab. And our maximum value or the value which has the highest value of the x and the y axis will be on the bottom right corner of this frame or this window. So this value or this point will have the maximum value for the x coordinate and the maximum value for the y coordinate. So this is very important that you get familiar with this coordinate system, because sometimes students are going to do the mistakes, especially changing or understanding the value along the y-axis. So this is the Java 2D coordinate system. So we will see the example in the Java program, and you will see that how we specify the values in this Java graphical coordinate system. Now let's talk about the graphic context and the graphic objects. A Java graphic context enables the drawing on the screen, and there is a class is provided which is abstract class called the class graphics. This is the abstract class contributes to the Java portability. So usually in the Java we are organizing the classes in a hierarchy, and the classes which are at the higher level, they will contain the more generic definition. So the classes at the lower level may have some specialties or may have some specific things, and sometimes it happens that the class at the highest level is the abstract class. So it is not going to implement the method, but it is going to provide only the definition of the method. So any class which is extending the abstract class is going to provide the implementation for these methods which are being defined in the abstract class. So for example, if we say that in the abstract class we define some definition of the method like a area, but we are not implementing this thing, but there are certain shapes are there which are going to implement the method area, for example like a rectangle or the triangle, then they will implement the method area if they are extending that class. But how this method is going to be implemented, it will depend on the certain class. The method for the area for the triangle is a different than for the rectangle. So different equations, different formulas, the user will write in the different subclasses or in the child classes. So with the same concept we have a higher level class, the graphic class, which is going to provide some definition for these methods. This class manages the graphic context and draw the pixel on the screen. So it is going to draw the pixel on the screen, actually the classes which are implementing the method for these classes. And there is a specific method which we are going to use very frequently. Now inside this method we are going to write the statement to draw the different objects. For example, to draw the rectangle object, to draw the line object, to draw the polygon inside this method. So you can see that we are going to override this method. Override means the override of the method means that the method is already defined in the higher class, but we are again defining or writing the code of this method. So of course when you call the method by some object, first the object is going to find the method in that class the object belongs to, but if the method is not implemented, it is going to go to the higher class. But since in our programs we are going to implement the paint component method, so our object is going to find the method in our class and it is going to execute that method, which is going to draw the different shapes or the different objects. This method is used to draw the graphics. Graphic object passed to the paint component method by the system when a lightweight showing component need to be repainted. So you are going to pass the graphics object to this method as a parameter. We cannot change the definition of the method, because if some method is being defined in the higher class, the child classes must have to use the same signature. Same signature means the return type, the name of the method, and the input parameters and their type are going to be remain the same, but the body of the method can be changed. So definition of the method is not going to be changed. So this method will have the object of the type graphics, and this object is going to be used to call some built-in methods in the Java. If a programmer need to have the paint component execute, a call is made to a method repaint. And one more interesting feature for the graphic program is there, which you are not going to find in the other program, that you are not going to call this method explicitly. If your class is implementing this method, the paint component, and you have a main method, because you know that in the Java program your execution begins from the main method, and there is a paint component method is there, you are not going to call the paint component method explicitly. It is going to be called automatically, so which is a new thing, because you always call some method, then it is being executed. If in your program, if you are not calling the method, it is not going to be executed. But this paint component method is not working like this thing. It is going to be executed automatically, and whatever is being drawn inside the paint component method is going to be drawn on the screen. But sometime it happens, or you might need to call this method, because maybe you are updating some objects, or you are changing the values of some parameter. For example, for the rectangle, you want to draw with the different width than the original rectangle. So in that situation, even you are not going to call this method directly. You are going to call the method repaint, and the repaint method is going to call the paint component method. So you have to get familiar with this kind of mechanism for the Java, and after few exercises you will become familiar with this system, that you are going to write the code whatever you want to draw in the paint component method, and that's all. You will not care about how to call this method. But later on, when we are going to move to the advanced level, then you are also need to call the repaint method if you are making some changes in the paint component method. Previously, in the previous slide, we have discussed about the class graphic, which was the abstract class, and the class graphic was inside the package Java AWT. So you can see that we are writing here Java AWT. Inside the package we have a class graphics, which was the abstract class. Now we are going to talk about the class Java AWT.graphics2D. So inside the same package, which package? Java AWT, we have a class the graphic2D, and this graphic2D is basically the subclass of the graphics. So as I told you that usually the more generic or the abstract class is at the higher level. So at the higher level we have a class graphics, which is this class, and then at the lower level we can say a child class, we have a class the graphics2D, which is basically a concrete class, and it is going to provide the method and the implementation of the method which are being defined in the class graphics. So this class, what class? The graphics2D, more concrete class, which has a method, provide the more sophisticated control over the geometry, coordinate transformation, and color management, and the text layout. So in the class graphic we have some abstract definitions are there, but the class graphic2D is going to provide the implementation for these methods, and we can call the method from the graphics2D to draw some object, to manage the color, and to perform certain coordinate transformation. So this class is going to be used quite frequently, because this provides some built-in functionality which we are going to use to draw the different colors, to draw the different object, and control the color and control the coordinate transformations. In the class graphics2D, which is inside the package Java AWT. So usually when you are writing the Java program and you want to use the class, you have to write a statement something like import Java .awt.graphics2D or import Java AWT.graphics. But if you want to use more than one class from a package, then rather than at the end writing the name of the class, we write asterisk and then of course semicolon. So in that situation we can use any of the classes which are inside the package. For example, if we write the asterisk rather than the graphics, so inside the package AWT, whatever classes are there, we can use it. We are going to discuss some of the basic methods which are going to draw the basic shapes in the Java. So of course these methods has to be called by some object which belong to the class graphics2D. So the first method is the draw line. If you want to draw the line, we have to specify the coordinates of the 2 points, because as I told earlier that in order to define a line we need the 2 points. For example, we can say that we have a point 1 P1 and we have the point P2. Since we are in the two-dimensional, we are working in the two-dimensional, so for the point P1 we have the 2 coordinates for this point, x1 and the y1, and similarly our point P2 will have the 2 coordinates, x2 and the y2. So we want to draw a line between these points or between these coordinates. So we are going to call the method draw line, and we are going to provide the coordinate for the P1, that is x1 y1, and the coordinate for the point P2 x2 y2. So these 4 parameters are required to draw the line between the 2 points P1 and the P2. It does not matter the order of these points. Here we specify the value x1 y1, we are assuming that they are belong to the P1 and x2 y2 belong to the P2. If you interchange these positions, you bring the coordinate of the second point here and coordinate of the first point are here, it is going to be just draw the line between the 2 points. Now let's talk about the second method, draw rect. And as you know that when we are writing a program, we have to follow some convention and we have to be consistent. So we have to write the method name in such a way that just looking at the method name, just reading the method name, we will have the idea about that what this method is going to do. For example, the draw line is going to draw the line. So similarly we have a method draw rect. So this method is going to draw the rect. Rect means it is an abbreviation of the rectangle. So if you want to draw the rectangle, we have to specify the 4 parameter x and y, width and height. X and y is basically the top left corner of the rectangle, and remember that our Java coordinate system, our origin is at the top left. So our x values are increasing from left to right, and our y values are increasing the Java coordinate system from the top to the bottom. So this is the origin here. This has the coordinate 0 and 0. So where we want to draw the rectangle, we have to specify the x and y position of the rectangle with respect to the Java coordinate system, where the origin is at the top left corner. So you can say that like this distance is the x and this distance is the y. So these are the first 2 parameters, x and y, if you want to draw the rectangle. The next 2 parameters are the width and the height of the rectangle. So of course in this situation, in this example, we have, this is the width of the rectangle. You can see the rectangle as a dotted line, and we can see the height of the rectangle. So when these 4 parameters are passed to this method, it is going to draw the rectangle, which will be drawn from this position, specify by the given width and the given height. So this is the example how we can draw the rectangle in the Java by the built-in method. Of course there are some other methods are there which we can use to draw the rectangle. Now the next method is that to draw the oval. Oval means the shape which is like a ellipse shape, or if we can say the specific type of the oval is like a circle. For example, we have oval shape is like this shape. So here you can see that by a solid line we are drawing the oval. So in order to draw the oval in the Java, we are using a method which is very similar to the method draw rect. We are going to specify the top left corner of not the oval but of the rectangle, which is working like a bounding box of the oval. So you can imagine that the oval shape is bounded inside the rectangle, and the rectangle has the top left corner x and y. The bounding box is going to be used to draw the oval. So bounding box is of the rectangle is going to use to draw the oval. So we have to specify the similar parameter, that is the top left corner of the bounding box of the rectangle, the width of the oval and the height of the oval. So we have the width of the we have the height of the oval along the vertical axis, and we have the width of the oval along the horizontal axis like the rectangle. So Java internal is going to use the equation of the ellipse, because the equation of the ellipse is different than drawing the rectangle. But to make it easier for the programmer, we are not giving any different kind of parameter to draw the oval. So the programmer just can imagine that this oval is going to be drawn inside the rectangle, which is serving like a bounding box. Of course, the rectangle is not going to be visible in the output frame or in the output window. So this is the method draw oval. So this is the basic method to draw the three basic primitive: line, rectangle and the oval. We are going to see the example code how to use these methods. Now we have these methods like a draw rect and the draw oval, which are going to draw the rectangle on the oval, but these shapes are not filled, so they are empty, that is, they are being empty from the inside. Now if you want to draw the shapes like a rectangle on the oval, which are filled by some color, so we have to use the similar method. Rather than the draw rect, we are going to use the method fill rect. And in order to draw the fill oval, we are going to call the method fill oval. So they are going to work like a same. So their parameters are the same, x, y and the width and height, which are the top left corner, the first two parameter, and the width and height of the rectangle and the oval. But they are going to draw the shape which are filled from the inside. So similarly you can see that we have a fill oval which is going to draw the oval which is filled. Of course we can change the color. So whatever the current color is there, the objects are going to be drawn and filled with the current color. So we can change the color anytime by using certain methods. Now let's talk about the more complex shape in the two-dimensional, the polygon and the polylines. Let's talk about the polygon. Closed shapes consist of the straight line segment, last point is connected to the first point. So polygon is basically a closed shape in which the last point is connected to the first point. For example, you can see that we have a polygon on the right side, and this polygon has the 5 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. So what the user has to do, the user has to provide the values for these vertices, and every vertex will have the two values, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. So the Java is going to draw the line between the adjacent vertices. For example, it is going to draw the line or the edge between the vertex 1 and 2, then between 2 and 3, then between 3 and 4, and then between 4 and 5. Now 5 is the last vertex. So in the polygon, the last point is connected to the first point. That is, the last vertex is going to be connected to the first point. So it is going to be the polygon. Polyline is going to be similar like a polygon, but the last vertex is not connected to the first point. So this is not a closed shape. So we will see the example that how we can specify the values for these vertices to draw the polygon and the polyline. So by using the polygon and the polyline, we can create the more complex shape, because rectangle, oval, triangle, these are the simple shapes are there. So in order to construct the more complex shape, we use the polygons. And also we can use the polygon to construct the simple shape. So in order to construct the rectangle, it is not compulsory that we are going to use the draw rect method or we construct the rectangle. We can construct the rectangle using the polygon. In that case, our polygon will consist of the 4 points, which are the 4 corners of the rectangle. So now let's see the method which are used to draw the polygon. So we have a method draw polygon, and there are the 3 parameters are there. The first parameter is an array of type integer, which consists of the x value, that is the x coordinate of all the points. For example, in the previous example, our polygon consists of the 5 points or the 5 vertices. So this array will consist of the 5 values or the 5 points. And similarly, we have the array which will have the y values. So if our polygon has the 5 vertices, then this array will contain the 5 values. and then how many vertices from the array we want to use to draw the polygon, because sometimes it may happen that the programmer define the array which consists of the 5 values, but he want to construct the rectangle using the initial 4 values. So then the number of points is going to be 4 in that situation. But most of the time what we are going to do, we are going to use the array with all the points, the x and the y array. Let's see the example for this method, that how we specify the x values and the y values, array of the x and the y values. We have to define the two arrays. You can name the array anything. For example, we can name the array x value, or you can name it x array. So it does not matter what name you use it, either you can use the x value or the x array. So we are defining the array of type integer, and so we define the array of integer, and this array consists of the 5 values: the first value, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. And similarly we are defining the second array, which will consist of the y value, that is the y coordinate for these 5 vertices of the polygon. So we have the 5 values are there inside this second array. So you can think that in order to draw the polygon, you can define the two one-dimensional array, and the number of values in that array are equal to the number of vertices in the polygon. Let me also explain you something here. So from these two array, if we take the first value from the first array and we take the first value from the second array, this is going to be create the vertex or the point 1 of the polygon. Similarly, the second value from the first array and the second value from the second array is basically the second point or the second vertex of the polygon, and so on and so forth. So we are defining the two arrays, and each array consists of the 5 values, because we want to construct the polygon which consists of the 5 point or the 5 vertices. So the first step is that we are going to define the two array. The second step is that we are going to call the method which we have just described, the draw polygon, and we are going to pass our array as a parameter to this method. So we are going to pass the x array, the first array, we are going to pass the second, that is the y array, and we are going to pass the number of points we want to use to draw the polygon. Right now we want to use all the points, so we are passing the value of 5. If you want to use only the first 4 points from the polygon, then we are going to just pass the value 4 here, then only the 4 points are going to be used to draw the polygon. As I told you that the polygon is a closed shape, so if you want to draw the shape which is not the closed, which is called the polyline, then we are going to call the method draw polyline. The parameters are the same. So in that situation, the last point is not going to be connected to the first point. Now we can use the method draw polygon to draw the polygon, the one simple way. But there is another method which we can use to draw the polygon, and this method is also, the name is the same, draw polygon. So you can say that we are overloading the method with the same name but with the different parameter. So here we are not passing the array, but we are passing the object of the type polygon. So there is a class polygon and this is the object name. So this method is going to take a parameter of type polygon, which is a class in the Java. So it means that first you have to construct this object, the polygon object, and then you have to call this method with this object. Now the polygon constructor and the method. Now as I told you, there is a class polygon in the Java. So in this class there is a constructor which does not take any parameter, so we can say that this is a polygon without any points or without any vertices. The second constructor is going to take the array of the x value, the y values, and the number of points, which is similar to the one which is being used in the previous slide. That is, we can draw the polygon by passing these parameter. And there is one more method there in the class polygon, which is called the add point, which is used if we want to add more points in the polygon, because initially we may define a polygon which consists of the 5 points or the 5 vertices. but later on we want to add one more point in this polygon, that is we want to construct the polygon with the 6 point. So it is not required that we are going to use the new arrays, just we can call the method add point and we can pass the new point to this method as a parameter, the coordinate of the new point. Then our polygon will be consist of the 6 points. Now let's see that how we can use this method draw polygon, which takes the object of the type polygon. So again we have to define the two arrays, but we are not going to call the method draw polygon as we have in the previous example with the arrays. We have defined the two arrays, and now you can see that we have the 4 points are there. So 4 values are specified for the X array and the Y array. So our polygon will consist of the 4 points. So we are constructing the polygon object. So you can see that we are writing the class name, the object name equal and the new operator, then again the class name, and we are passing our array as a parameter to the constructor of the polygon, not to the method. So we are passing the X array, Y array, and we want to use all the points from these arrays, so we are passing the value 4. So what we have done, we have created the polygon object. Now we want to add one more point in this polygon, so we are going to call the method add point, but with this object. So p dot add point. So from the class polygon we are calling the method add point, and one more point has been added to this polygon. So now this polygon is consist of the 5 points. Initially we constructed this polygon object with the 4 points. Now we are adding one more point, and then finally we are calling this method draw polygon, and we are passing only the one parameter. What is this parameter? The object of the class polygon which we have just constructed. So this is going to create the this is going to draw the polygon and create the polygon object. Now if you use the method draw polygon, you can do this thing, but the advantage for using the this mechanism means that if we create the object then call the method polygon, is that now we have an object P, which is belong to the class polygon, and we can manipulate this object. Maybe we want to add more points, or maybe we want to remove this point from this polygon object. So in a more robust or in a more generic program, we prefer the approach that we create the object then call the method with this object. If you want to modify or make some changes to this object, maybe we want to apply some transformation. But if we want to draw only one time polygon, then rather than creating the polygon object, a simpler approach is that we just call the method draw polygon and we are passing the array. So it is going to draw the polygon on the screen or on the frame or on the window. So these two methods are used to draw the polygon and the polyline. Now we are going to discuss about another package in the Java, which is Java AWT.GOM, geometry. This package is a little bit advanced package. In this package we have the classes which are going to be used for creating the concrete object of various classes such as the ellipse, line and the rectangle 2D. Previously we have seen that how we can use the method to draw the ellipse, line and the rectangle. For example, to draw the rectangle we have a method draw rect. To draw the ellipse we have a method draw oval. But the disadvantage for using this method is that we do not have the actual object. We just draw the shape on the screen, but if we want to modify later on this shape, we want to modify certain parameter, we don't have the control over these shapes. So a better, more advanced approach is that first we create the object of these shape classes, for example like a line, rectangle, and then later on we call some method and pass this object to the drawing method, and then we draw this object. So later on we can reuse the object, or we can change certain parameter for that object. So now we are going to discuss these classes: ellipse 2D double, line 2D double, rectangle 2D double, and these classes will take the parameter of type double. So let's discuss these classes. So now if you want to create the line object, we are going to use the class line 2D double. We have to create the object. We are going to write the class name line 2D double. We are going to write the object name, that is the line. We can use any name for the object, again equal and the new operators, the class of the name of the class, and the 4 parameters. So these 4 parameters are similar to the parameter we pass to the method draw line. That is the value of the 2 points of the line x1 y1 of point P1 and x2 y2 of point P2. So we are passing the similar parameter to create or construct this object. So you can say that these are the two coordinates x1 and the y1 for the point P1, and then we have the two coordinate, you can call them as x2 and y2 for the point P2. So they are going to be used to construct the line 2D double object, but right now it is only the object. We still have not drawn this object. We have to use certain method to draw this object on the screen, because this is not the method, this is only the construction of the object by using the constructor of the class line 2D double. Similarly, we can create the object of the class rectangle 2D double, and the parameters are like the similar parameter we have used to pass to the method draw rect, that is the top left corner of the rectangle with respect to the Java coordinate system, which is in which the origin of the screen or the frame is on the top left corner, and then width and height of the rectangle. But this time these parameters are used to create or construct the rectangle object. So let's see the example. We write the class name rectangle 2D double, object name, we can use any name for this object, equal, and the new operator, again the class name and the 4 parameter x, y, width and height. So we have constructed the object, but still they are not being drawn. We have to call the method draw, and we have to pass these objects to this method to actually draw these objects on the screen or on the frame. Similarly, we can create the ellipse 2D object by using the statement ellipse 2D double, name of the object, equal, new operator, ellipse 2D double, x, y, width and height. And again the idea is the same. Our ellipse or the oval shape is bounded inside the rectangle, and this bounding rectangle has the top left corner the x and y, and either the rectangle or the ellipse has the same width and the height. But actually this is only for creating the ellipse object. Rectangle is not going to be shown, or rectangle is not going to be constructed. It is just like a concept to create the ellipse inside some bounding rectangle. So by using these three statements, that is the line 2D double creating this object, then rectangle 2D double create the rect object, and ellipse 2D double ELPS, we can create the three objects. As I told you that we will see the example that how we can use these objects to draw them actually on the screen by calling the draw method. So right now just I am explaining to you how to construct the object. Okay, so let's first discuss the example program, because before moving to the color and the fonts, it's better that we discuss about that how to create the actual objects. So we are going to discuss one example program. So I'm using the editor which is called the JCreator. This editor is called the JCreator, and I told you that this editor works quite fast. So let me do some configuration for this editor. Options, Java, font. Let me try to increase this font. 12. So here you can see that we have a file with the name graphic primitive, and we are writing a graphic program in which we are drawing some basic shapes or primitive like a line and the rectangle. So let me show you the output for this program. I am compiling this program or this file, and then I am executing this program. So in this program you can see that when we execute this program, we have drawn two lines, one in the black color and one in the red color, and we have drawn a rectangle which is unfilled, not filled. In the blue color, then we have drawn a filled rectangle. So how we draw these shapes on the screen or on the frame? Let's discuss this thing. Now it is possible that we write a single Java file in which we can draw these objects, but the mechanism I am using here, which is more flexible and can be used for writing the advanced Java program, that our file, the graphic primitive.java, basically consists of the two classes. One class is called the public class graphic primitive extend JFrame. So in this class you can say that we are just making our frame as a outer container of some other window or the frame or some other panel. And then we have a class drawing panel extend JPanel, and our objects, actual objects, are drawn in the other class, which is called the draw panel, and which is extending the JPanel. So we are using basically the two windows or two kind of container. One is called the JFrame, which is, you can say, like a bigger one, and then inside the frame we have the panel. So our class graphic primitive is extending the JFrame, so it is a subclass of JFrame, and our drawing panel is extending the JPanel. So in our program later on we are going to use a similar program, many other labs. So the construction or the structure is going to remain the same. We will have the two classes, the initial class which will have the different name. The construction or the building blocks of this class are most of the time are going to be the same, but the class in which we are actually drawing the objects, it will have the paint component method, and inside the paint component method we are going to draw the different object, and so the body of this paint component method is going to be changed. So mostly we are concerned with the class which is extending the JPanel class, but I am going to describe both of these classes. And before I start to discuss these classes, let's say that we are writing some statement import JavaX swing, and we are writing the asterisk, mean that we can use all the classes from this package java.awt, which contains the higher level class graphics, and the Java AWT GeoM, which is the geometry class. We can use this class to create the concrete object of the rectangle, line, or the ellipse. Now let's discuss the class graphics primitive, which is a public class. And remember that if your file contains more than one Java classes, then one of the class will be the public, and your file is going to be named with the file which is public, which is of the class which is public. For example, here the graphic primitive class is a public, and this class will have the main method, so it is going to be like a launching pad for the other class. So our file name should be like a graphic primitive, which is the same name as this class, this graphic primitive, which is public and which contain the main method. In the other class we will not have the main method, but we have the paint component method. So let's first discuss the class graphic primitive. So we are defining the two static variable of type integer, frame width and the frame height. So when I execute the program, you have seen the complete frame, and inside that frame there was only a single panel. So our height and the width of the frame are the same. Then we have the constructor for this class graphic primitive. So you know that for the constructor we don't have the return type. The type of the constructor is public. The access modifier is a public, and the name of the class and the name of the constructor are always the same. Right now our constructor does not have any parameter. And then we call the method set layout new border layout, and I am assuming that you have some basic idea about the Java swing, about the layout, because you are taking this course after the object oriented programming course. So you should have some basic idea about the layout, how the components are being arranged in the frame. So we have set the layout for this frame as a border layout. Border layout means that this frame may have the four parts: the center, north, south, east and the west. It is up to us that how many parts or how many area of this frame we are using, but the border layout allow us to use the 5 areas of the frame, as I told you: center, north, south, east, west. Then we call the method set size, and passing the value for these parameter frame width and the frame height. Set the title for the frame, and calling the method set location relative to null. So basically this method is going to show your output frame or the output window in the center of the computer screen. If you don't use it, it is not going to be harmed. It is just the window is going to be shown on the top left side. And then we call the method set default clause operation. Then we pass a constant from the class JFrame. So when we use a constant from a class, the syntax is that we write the class name, we write the dot, and we call the constant exit on close. The meaning of this statement is that when we are going to close the frame means that I'm again executing this program. If I'm going to click on this cross icon to close the frame, then the program is going to be terminate, all the resources are going to be released. So this method is making sure that when we close this frame, then our program is terminated and all the resources are released. Now then in the next statement we are creating the object of the class drawPanel. We write the class name, we write the object name, and again equal new operator, again the class name, and passing the frame width and the frame height. So basically this drawing panel was our other class. I told you that we have the other class drawing panel in which we are actually drawing the object. So we are going to create the object for the other class, and then what we are doing, the other class is basically the subclass for the child class for the JPanel. So we are creating the panel in the other class. So panel, you can see that we are adding the panel inside the frame. So this class is of type JFrame or extend the JFrame. So inside the JFrame we want to create a panel. So we can have a multiple panel in a frame, but right now we are using only the one panel. So we create the object of the other class, and then we are adding the panel inside this frame. So this add method is going to add the panel inside the frame. So we are calling the add method. We are passing the panel object, and we are saying that this panel to be added in the center of the frame. I told you that the border layout allow us to use the 5 areas of the frame, but right now we are using only the center area. And since we are not using the other area, this center area is going to occupy the whole place of the frame. It's not going to be the case that the other areas are going to be empty. Then we are calling the method pack, so that our components are going to be more compact. They are going to be packed. And then finally calling the method set visible true. So meaning that a frame is going to be visible. Otherwise the frame is not going to be visible. It is being created internally but not shown. So this is the constructor of the class graphic primitive. I told you that we are saving our file with the name graphic primitive, which is the name of this class, which contains the main method, and this class is a public. So now we have a main method which is to launch the program. So we have a main method public static void main, and then we call simply the constructor of this class graphic primitive, because this constructor is not going to be executed until we create the object of this class. So simply we are creating the object of the class graphic primitives equal the new operator. We can call this object any name, and then again using the class name. So this statement is going to call the constructor, and all of these statements are going to be executed. So this is the code which is of something like an outer class or the outer container. So this code is going to remain the same most of the time. So here we have, you can see that we have created the object of the class drawing panel. Now we have to discuss the other class drawing panels. I am going to make it like fold, and I am discussing the class drawing panel extending the JPanel. So JPanel is another container. A panel can have other component also. So in this class we are defining some class variables, private rectangle 2D double. So now I am using the class from the geometry package. Initially we have imported this package. So I have created the object. Of course right now this object is a null because we did not assign any values or any parameter to this object, but this is the class variable. Then we define the 4 other variables which we are going to use to create the rectangle 2D double object. These parameters are the x and y, that is the top left corner of the rectangle with respect to the Java coordinate system, and the rectangle width and the rectangle height. So we are writing this code so that our rectangle object is going to be more flexible. So later on we can manipulate this object. Now we have a constructor for this class drawing panel. In the constructor we are passing the value for the frame width and the frame height, because when we call this class, when we create the object and we call the constructor, we pass the two parameters, which was the frame width and the frame height. So we are passing this value frame width and the frame height to this constructor, because right now we want that the size of the panel is the same as the size of the frame, but later on we can manipulate this thing if we have more than one panel in the frame. Now we are setting the size for this panel, and then we are calling the we are passing the anonymous object to the set prefsize method, new dimension, and the frame width and the frame height. So this is basically going to create the panel with the size equal to the frame width and the frame height, and setting the background for this panel as the white. So this constructor is executed when we have created the object in the outer class, or you can say that in a bigger container class drawing panel. Now we have a body of the method paint component. I told you that we do not have to call the method paint component explicitly, it is going to be called automatically. So whatever we are drawing, we have to write the code for that drawing part inside the method paint component, and we cannot change the signature for these methods. We are implementing or overriding this method. So this method takes the parameter of the type graphics, which was the abstract class, and then inside this paint component method we call the paint component of the method of the superclass, and we are passing our this G object. Then since this object belongs to the class which was abstract, and the abstract class does not have the implementation of the method, so we are performing the downcasting of this object G into the class graphic 2D, and the graphic 2D was a more concrete or the subclass of the graphics, which has the implementation of some of the methods which are required to draw the object on the screen or on the frame. So we have downcasted the object G into the object of the class graphic 2D. So this is the mechanism, you know, that we downcast by writing the name of the lower class in the parenthesis and then assigning to the object of the lower class. Now we have to use this object of the class graphic 2D to call some method which are in the class graphic 2D. So from this object we call the method drawLine. We have discussed this method, but I told you that we have to call this method by some graphics object. So we are calling this method with the graphic object G2. We call the method drawLine. And right now we are creating the line by the basic method, by the primitive method. We are not creating the object. We pass the value for x1, y1. That is x1 is 100, y1 is 40, x2 is 350, and the y2 is 140. So this drawing method, drawLine method, is going to draw the line in the default color. The default color is the black one. So when I show you the output, a line was shown in the black color. So that line was being shown because of this statement drawLine. Let me again execute this program. So you can see that a black line is shown here, and you will notice that our value for the x1, y1 was 140. So this is 100 and this is 40. So our origin of this frame is here, 0, 0. So this distance is 100 and this distance is 40. And now we are increasing the value for the x. X is now 350. So meaning that we are moving from the left to the right along the horizontal axis. So we are increasing the value from the 100 to the 350. So here this distance is the 350. And then the value of the y is also increasing from 40 to 140. As I told you that the value of y in the Java coordinate system increases when we are moving from the top to the bottom along the vertical axis. So this distance is a 140. And this line is been drawn in the default color, which is the black color. After this statement we want to draw another line, but not by the method drawLine, but first creating the object and then calling some method to draw this line. So as I told you that in the Java EWT geometry package, GeoM package, we can create the concrete object. So by using the class name, object name equal new operator, we create the object of the class line, and we are passing the value for our second line, in which x1, y1 are 120 and 140, and x2, y2 are 390 and the 240. I have chosen the different value because I want to show this line separately, not overlapping with the line, initial line. And then I am setting this color. Still the line is being not shown on the screen, just we have created the object here by this statement. Then we set the color, And now when we set the color to the new color, now everything is going to be drawn on the frame or on the screen by the new color, which is now the color red. And then we draw the line and we are passing our object line. So you can see that this object name was a line. We can choose any name and we are calling the method draw. So this method we have to call to draw some object which we have created earlier. So this is going to draw the line in the red color. Now after this statement we change the color to the blue. So meaning is that now the new drawing color is the blue. Whatever is already drawn, it is drawn in the existing color which was being set there, or that was default color. But now after this statement everything is going to be drawn in the blue color. So we call the method set color and we set the color to the blue. And we can use some constant from the class color to quickly set the color, the drawing color. For example, in the class color there is a constant like a red, green, blue and some other colors. So we can just call the method set color, we write the class name and then passing the value for this constant like a blue. So the color is going to be changed by this statement. And then we are drawing the rectangle, but by the statement, by the method draw rect. So we are not creating the object right now for this rectangle. So we call the method draw rect. We specify the top left corner of the rectangle and the width and height of the rectangle. So this rectangle is going to be shown on the screen because we directly call the method draw rect, and since we set the color blue, so the rectangle is shown in the blue color, and this is not filled rectangle. And then finally we are going to create the concrete object of the class rectangle 2D double. We already defined the object, but it was a null object and we have defined a parameter. So now we are creating the actual object, concrete object. Our object name is the rect, using the new operator, the class name rectangle 2D double, and passing the value for these parameters rect x, rect y, rect w, rect height. So these values are already defined there. And then setting the color. So we have to set the color before we draw. So we set the color to the green, and this time we call the method fill. We do not call the method draw because this draw method is going to draw without filling. So when we call the method fill, the objects are going to be drawn with something inside, some color is inside, and we are passing our object rect. So this is going to draw the rectangle object in the green color. So we have seen the example in which we can directly draw the objects like the draw line and the draw rect. We are calling the method. Or another approach was that first we create the object like the line, creating the object of the line 2D double, and then calling the method draw and passing our object. So we have created a line. And similarly we have created a rectangle object, setting the color and call the method fill to draw this thing. This rectangle is the most flexible because we have defined the parameter for this rectangle, and then later on we can change these parameter. So this was the output for this program which I want to discuss with you before discussing the other thing. Now let's come to the discussion of the drawing the string. Drawing the string means that we want to draw some text but as a graphics. So we are going to call the method draw string, and we are going to pass our string as a parameter, the first parameter, and the integer x and y as the second and the third parameters. So these x and y are basically the location of the top left corner of the string where the string is going to be drawn on the screen. Like the rectangle, when we have to draw the rectangle, the first two parameters are the x and y, which are the top left corner of the string. So similarly, because our string is like a graphic object, so x and y are like a top left corner for this graphic object which is like a string. So this draw the text given by the specifier string using this graphic context, current font and the color. So this string is going to be drawn in the default font and in the default color. The default color is the black, but later on we can change the color, as I have shown you the example that by using the method set color. Similarly we can change the font. Now the explanation for these parameters are given. The string to be drawn, x, the x coordinate and the y coordinate with respect to the Java coordinate system, where the origin is in the top left corner of the frame or the screen. So the example is here. We can call the method draw string by the graphic object. In our example, object was a G2. It can have any name. Then passing the string like Amulkura University, and then passing the x and y value. So here the explanation for this is given. X coordinate is the 60, meaning that the distance from the origin of the frame or the window or the panel is 60 here, and distance along the y-axis is 80 because our origin is here. So we pass these two values as a parameter, as a second and a third parameter for this method. So this string is going to be drawn. So you can think that here it is drawn. Actually it's showing a little bit higher, but this should be shown here like a hello world, and this is like a top left corner for the hello world. If we call this method draw string with the string hello world, and the x and y are the 60 and the 80. Now let's see the example for setting the font, because I told you that if we are not setting the font, it is going to be drawn in the default font. So the Java font styles are plain, bold and the italic, and Java fonts are serif, Times, Monospace, Courier and Sans Serif Helvetica. So how we can set the font? Like we have a method set color to set the color. Similarly, we have a method set font. We call this method with a graphic object inside the paint component method, and then we are passing the values of the class font. We are creating the object of the class font. Right now we are creating the anonymous object. So all of these statements are like a parameter of the class, of the parameter of the method set font. So inside the parameter for this method set font, we create the anonymous font object, and we are passing our font as the serif, and the style is the bold. So again we are using the constant from the class bold. So there are some predefined constants are defined, so we can use these constants by writing the class name and the constant name. And then the size for this font is the 12. So we can change the font to the bold and the size 12. One more example that how we can call the method set font. So we have called the method set font. Again we create the anonymous object. We write the name of the font as the monospace, but this time we are using the two constants at the same time. One is the italic plus bold. So it meaning that we are going to draw something on the screen which is going to be not only the bold but also the italic. So we can combine these constants which are in the class defined in the class font. And the size for the font is the 24. So when we call the method, then after calling this method set font, whatever we are going to be drawn on the screen, it is going to be drawn in the font which we have set last before the drawing statement. So this is going to be, for example, here the Umm Al Qura University is going to be shown, the string is going to be shown on the screen by using the font monospace, italic and the bold. So this is setting the font. So there are some examples are like a graphic primitive which I already discussed with you. Now I am going to discuss you the class color font. Now I am discussing with you the class color font, and again this Java file contains the two classes. Public class color font extend the JFrame, and the class drawing panel extend the JPanel. I told you that the first class, which is the color font, is the public and it contains the main method, and the construction for this class is going to be remain the same as we have discussed the class graphic primitive. So you can see that we have defined the frame width, frame height, we have the constructor, we set the layout for the frame, set the size, set title, and like this statement. Again we create the object of the class drawing panel, pack and set visible, and then we in the main method we just call this constructor. So this class remain the same, but in the class other class, which is the drawing panel, our constructor is almost the same. Here we are passing the value frame width and the frame height because our panel is going to be the same size as the frame width and height, but the paint component method is different. So most of the time we are working with the paint component method. So here you can see that we are downcasting the graphic object into the type of graphic 2D, and then we call the method set font. We are creating the new anonymous font object, monospace, italic, bold and size 36. So first let me execute this program So you can see that what is the output for this program. So here we are writing the two string as a graphic. One is the computer graphics in the blue color, and then the second string is the Java programming in the green color. And of course the size of the font is a little bit bigger here. So let's see how this is working. So initially we set the font by calling the method setFont, and we are passing the font object as an anonymous object. But still we have not drawn. We have just changed the font from the default to our own given font. Then we set the color to the blue. Now everything is going to be drawn in the blue color because the default color was the black, but we override this default color. Then we draw the string computer graphics. So as you have seen that we have shown you the computer graphic which was in the blue color because we have set the color to the blue, and the size is the 36, and this is written as the italic and the bold. So this computer graphic is not only italic but it is also bold. So after this thing, now we are creating the actual concrete object. Previously we have called the method setFont and we create the anonymous font object. Now we are creating the concrete object. We are writing the class name. Our object name is the myFont, and the name of the font is the Times, and the style is the bold, and the size is the 50. Now previously we have used the size 36. Now we are using the size 50. Then we are calling the method setFont, and this time we are passing our object which we have created here. So either you can create the anonymous object or you can create the concrete object, then you can pass this object to the method setFont. And previously we have set the color by calling this method setColor, and we are passing the constant of the class color. But this time we are also creating the color object, our own color object. So we use the class color, object name is the myColor, any name we can choose, equal and the new operator, then again the class name, and we are passing the three values for our own color: the red, the green and the blue. Now this constructor is going to take the parameter, three parameter, where the value of the red, green and the blue are between the 0 and the 1 inclusive. So the value for the red component is the 0.3 of type float. We have to write the F. The meaning is that this value is of type float. Then the green has the value 0.6 and the blue has the value 0.3. So these three values are used to create our color, myColor. Then we can set the color by passing our object. Previously we called the method setColor and we are passing the constant from the class color, but this time we are passing the object to the method setColor. Then we draw the string Java programming at the location 100 and 350. So here you can see that this color has the value red 0.3, green 0.6 and the blue 0.5. You will also notice that the value for the green component is higher than the red and the blue component. So this color is inclined toward the green color. So if we are writing the value and certain component has a higher value, then it is going to be inclined toward that color. So this is the example that how we can create our own color object and how we can create our own font object, and we can write the Java program in which we can draw the string or we can draw any other object. So now let's come back to the example. Now one more example need to be discussed. It is called the polygon draw. So let me show you again this example, polygon draw. In this example we will see that how we can draw the polygon. Again the construction of the our file is the same. We have the two classes are there. The first class is the polygon draw, which is the public class and has the main method. Then we have the class polygon panel, which is extending the JPanel. And in this class we have the paint component method in which we are going to create our object. So we want to create the polygon. As we have discussed earlier, we can create the polygon either by calling the method draw polygon and we are passing the array to this method, or we can create the polygon object, then we are calling the method draw polygon by passing the polygon object which is created earlier. So we are going to see the example for both of these. So in the class polygon panel, which is extending the panel, we are defining the array x array 1, y array 1. So this array is going to be used when we are going to call the method draw polygon and we are passing the array to the method. So we are not creating the object. So we are creating the polygon which has the 5 vertices or the 5 points. So x1 has the value 200, x2 has the 200, so we have the value x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 for the 5 points or the 5 x coordinate for this polygon. So these 5 values are basically the x coordinate of the 5 points of the polygon. Similarly, we have the y array 1, in which we have defined the values of the y coordinate of the 5 points. So you can see these values are y1, y2, y3, y4 and the y5. These values are there. And then we also defined the second array, which is going to be used for creating the other polygon. So let's see the code for the pin component method, which is quite simple. Again, we are doing the downcasting, and we call the method draw polyline. Sorry, I told you the polygon. Basically, we are creating the polyline by using these two array, x array 1, y array 1. So we are passing the x array 1, y array 1 directly to the method. We did not create any object, and we are passing the 5 points. All the values are going to be used. So when I am going to execute this program, you are going to see that this is going to draw the polygon in the default color, the black one. So we have the point P1, which has the coordinate x1, y1, then P2, which has the coordinate x2, y2, then P3, which has the coordinate x3, y3, P4, x4, y4, and the P5, x5, y5. Then afterward, we are creating the complete or the concrete polygon object. So we create the object from the class polygon, and we are passing our other array, which we have defined here, x array 2 and the y array 2. And this array contains only the 2.2x coordinate and the 2y coordinate. So we have the value for the x1, y1 and the x2, y2. So this polygon object is being created with only the 2 points. So we are passing the array. We did not draw it, just we create the object. Then we are calling the method addPoint. As we have discussed earlier in the class polygon, we have a method addPoint, so we can call this method to add more points in the polygon. So initially our polygon was constructed using only the 2 points. So we add one more point in the polygon. Now our polygon has the 3 points. And then we set the color, because we want to draw this polygon in the different color. So again we use the constant red from the class color, and then we call the method draw polygon by the graphic object, and we are passing the method. We are passing the object P to this method draw polygon. So this is going to draw the polygon which has 3 points. Initially we create with the 2, then add one more point in the red color. So as you can see that in here, this polygon has a 3 point, x1, y1, x2, y2. Another point was added, something like a x3, y3. I told you earlier that we can even create the basic shapes like a rectangle, triangle by using the polygon. But here this approach, the second approach, is more flexible, because right in this approach we have a complete or the concrete object is there. So we can later on, we can add more point in this polygon, or we can apply the other operation like a transformation operation on this polygon. So this is a third example I want to discuss how to draw the polygon. So we have discussed the graphic primitives. We have discussed the example for color font, in which how to set the color in the font, and draw polygon, in which we see how to draw the polygon and the polyline. Polygon and the polylines are similar methods are there, similar constructors are there. In the polyline, the last point is not connected with the first point. And there are some references are there for this lecture, and then disclaimer and the fair use statements are there. So thank you very much for listening this lecture.